providers of Minnesota's The Inside Scoop, with your advocacy team, Toby Pearson, Aaron Bowie, and Todd Bergstrom. This week's host, Toby Pearson.
Welcome to today's Inside Scoop. Today is Friday, April 6th. This is the end of what they call their Easter Passover break at the Capitol, which means they didn't hold any hearings for this whole week, which means Toby got to get in the office and get a lot of things done, and now the rest of the staff are ready for Toby and Aaron to be back at the Capitol. But what happened? Well, next week they return back to work. So they've passed their first two deadlines, which means they've done the majority of their policy work, and now they're going to get started on their finance work, which means you will hear lots of conversation about taxes, spending, and maybe even some bonding issues that start to pervade the newspaper coverage. This is the next step as they move towards an April 20th deadline for their finance bills, which means by April 20th they have to get their supplemental bills put together and out of their respective bodies for more discussion. Nothing is ever done until they're done at the end of May, and even then they may not be done, as we've found out in the past with lots of special sessions. But we remain optimistic. So what's going on for our stuff? As you may have read in the Action newsletter, if you haven't, there's a plug for it. We are doing a lot of work on the abuse and neglect stuff. So right now, next week, they're going to come back in the House. We anticipate that the Keel bill that we support will be heard on Wednesday, either during the day or at night. Committees will start to go long into the night as we move forward. We have not heard yet on the Senate side. The Housley bill is the Senate vehicle. We are not completely supportive of the Housley bill. It still has aspects of it we oppose. We have not heard when that's been scheduled for hearing on the Senate side. So Wednesday will be a long day as we deal with abuse and neglect on the House side, and then we'll wait to see what happens in the Senate. But that is not the only bill we're working on, people. It may get all the headlines, but it's not the only bill. Other issues that are moving forward. This past break, meaning last summer into the fall, Doug did a lot of work on home care changes, Doug and Jill both, along with the Home Care Association and the Department of Health to try to clean up some material in the home care regulations. That bill is moving forward. That is House File 3240 by Haley and Senate File 2826. Author is Ralph. There is Human Services Elderly Waiver Recodification. That is what Todd spent his summer and fall on. Recodifying all of the elderly waiver statutes so that they actually start to make some sense. That bill is moving forward as well. House File 3055, a Deb Keel bill, and Senate File 2564, a Housley bill. There are some financial exploitation protections that are moving forward for seniors. House File 3833, Schumacher, Senate File 919, Housley, both moving through their respective bodies as well. There's a bill that we don't like that has a Minnesota Health Policy Commission that was put forward by the Chamber, but it has been watered down enough so that we are simply watching it at this point. The Nurse Licensure Compact is back. It has had some hearings in both the House and the Senate. That is House File 3848 and Senate File 3305. Again, watching that one as it moves through the process. There's a bill, the Maltreatment Investigation Quarterly Report, which means that the OHFC will have to start doing quarterly reports on maltreatment investigations. That's moving through the process. We think this may end up being a vehicle bill, but we're watching it anyway. House File 3857, Keel again, and Senate File 3451, a Housley bill again. And lastly, the thing that we haven't covered much, but it may have big implications for many of our members, as there are potential cuts to disability waivers. If you go back in time, the Fed said that the 7% stacking that took place was not fair or legal, and therefore they're trying to wrestle with how do they solve that problem, or does that 7% just simply end up being a cut, which is something, again, we'll be watching for all our folks who provide services under the disability waiver. So that is an outline of what we're watching. You can always look for updates every week with the Inside Scoop and our action articles weekly that try to give you more insights into what's going on. Thank you for watching and enjoy the Easter Passover break. Wow.